Hello and welcome. Welcome back to 15 minutes of another competency profile as provided by the AI Guild. So, again, today, like every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central European Time, you get to see a competency profile, this one, of a senior data engineer that was compiled by work of the AI Guild and that exists for you here as inspiration to understand how you, if you're a senior, you want to be a lead, you want to be a director, you want to be a principal, how you move your data career forward, and how a competency profile is something that you can use to initiate that conversation inside your company. Now, we've known for quite a while that the most successful practitioners are those with substantial, deep expertise in at least one aspect. Maybe you've heard of the notion of the T-shaped competency profile. So the letter T here stands for the fact that data professionals as a whole share a certain breadth of competency, right? So from data creation, data generation, data processing, pipelines, and all such stuff, possibly to some sort of modeling or analytics, providing dashboards, running machine learning models, working with language if you're in NLP or something like this, all the way to the deployment of those models or the reporting functions that you have. So there's a certain breadth of expertise that data professionals generally share. And then, of course, if we look at particular roles like data analyst, NLP engineer, machine learning scientist, data scientist, then these roles also have a certain breadth of expertise. So if we, for example, take the data scientist, we obviously have things around being able to look at the quantity and quality of data that you have, maybe also do something with that data before they go into the models, do the models, train the models, perhaps retrain the models, all the modeling stuff that needs to be done. And then on the other side, of course, the question of, them going into production, maybe monitoring the production and so on. So there again is a certain breadth, but the point here is that the most successful practitioners are those with substantial deep expertise in at least one aspect. And I think this comes in two ways. So one is in the particular data role that you are, machine learning, data analytics, whatever it is, you need to figure out what for that role is is common as deep expertise that makes a difference. We'll be talking about that for the data engineer today. And the other thing you need to understand is you individually, what is your substantial deep expertise that perhaps even makes you unique? Yeah, your experience, your ambition. So this is as much about as what you've done in the past years as where you want to go in the next years. And a competency profile really helps you to understand that well. So it has specific use cases: promotion, outreach, clients, professional networking, and interviewing. So you can use your you can use your competency profile to schedule a conversation about a promotion. You can use it if you want to be in contact with other senior industry colleagues. If you're working in freelance or consulting, you can also use it to persuade the buyer or to buy the services or to see your ability to deliver. Professionally, you can use this actually in the social networks that you use. You can take your competency profile, refine your presentation, enhance your about section, yeah, and just highlight your deep expertise. And then should you want to or need to find your next challenge in your company, you're applying and you're entering the interview process, then you can again use this competency profile to structure the interviewing process much better. Now, today we're going to be looking at the senior data engineer. So we're talking about a senior data engineer who has 4+ years of experience focusing on managing IoT infrastructure and pipelines. So here is the point, so to speak. We have a data engineer, but he's doing something specific. He's part of a specific function or industry. So IoT, okay, Internet of Things. And he's been doing this as an organizational level using AWS, so also a particular cloud platform. Then it says he worked with the integration of sensor data, IoT, reduced time to insight, so made things more efficient for water leakage detection. So this is a particular use case in the Internet of Things, and improved the response time of the Tableau dashboard using advanced SQL. So actually somebody is presumably monitoring things, this water leakage, and they're using Tableau dashboards. So we have a data engineer that obviously knows how to handle the data, but here in terms of breadth of expertise also has something to do with kind of like understanding that this is for analytics and has some insight into how this then works on a Tableau dashboard. Now, this specific competency profile then comes in 4 blocks. In the middle, we have data governance and system design. So these are the 2 things that this particular data engineer is but strong at. And these kinds of competencies are flanked by his ability to work around decision-making and the particular experience on AWS. Okay, so let's deep dive. So one of the things we have here is data governance. Implemented policies for 50 users across 6 teams, built data backup and recovery guides in accordance with GDPR, HIPAA, and AWS CloudTrail. So this basically says, I know how to build pipelines, and in building pipelines, I can take care of these data governance needs, okay? So this is implementing policies, making sure that for those 50 users across teams, the required policies are in place. They can actually make use of the data in the most meaningful way and use this to build pipelines or do other things that they want to do with them in terms of analytics or modeling. So competence number 1. Competence number 2 here is system design. So data governance, actually, if you're talking Internet of Things or another type of company where these governance needs are particularly strong and perhaps there's high regulatory requirement, think, for example, also banking, right? Then getting this right is really important. And on the other hand, of course, you need to be able to design the system as a whole. Design and implementation of data flow of 4+ projects with auto-scaling infrastructure for IoT. So particular focus, industry, and then auto-scaling infrastructure actually means here, look, I'm able to run it in such a way that if the data volume grows, there's more success, we need to scale things. I've laid the foundations. I have an infrastructure that can auto-scale. Typically, of course, this will be a cloud infrastructure, right? And image data for both real-time and batch processing. This is also really important. So you're perhaps yourself a data engineer, and then you are really aware of the difference between real-time and batch processing, and I need to say no more. But of course, if we just take a step back and look at the development of the field, then a few years ago, batch processing was what most companies were doing. And then real-time processing kind of got on, it got more convenient, it was easier to do. And companies might still have both needs. And this data engineer is simply able to say here, look, I have built auto-scaling infrastructure that works for batch processing, that's like, say, done daily, and real-time processing that is done by the hour, by the minute, by the second, whatever that real-time actually looks like in detail. So we have system design and governance here as these qualifications of a senior data engineer. And then one flank here is the decision making. So the point here is that you can say, I built 6+ MVPs from stakeholder requirements for cost estimates and choice of architecture. So this is actually a company has new data, more data, wants to do something different, want actually to do more with the data in terms of analytics or machine learning. And then this particular engineer is able to lead on building the MVPs and showing the company what it would cost, also what alternatives would cost, and what the most intelligent choice of architecture would be. And this is, if you think about engineering, if you actually think about lasting engineering, you think about companies that are doing this and actually really want to derive value from the data that they have, then these choices are important. There's some initial choices that should last and also have consequences, and particularly have bad consequences if you get them wrong, right? If you have to redesign, repipeline, everything all the time, you're not really moving forward. You're not keeping things in production. Things are likely to break. Things are likely to be suboptimal. Things are likely not to have the desired result. So actually being able to build MVPs and show what the different costs would be and what the most intelligent choice of architecture is for those use cases or for those companies is a really valuable additional skill for a senior data engineer to have. And the final part here is AWS experience. So, as you all know, there are several cloud platforms now. They also get mixed and matched in some ways. Sometimes you have issues that you want to migrate from one or the other, and the question of lock in. But this particular engineer here simply is firm with AWS. So, 4+ years hands on with MLOps pipelines for IoT use cases, supported by infrastructure as a code and CI CD pipelines. So, for that particular industry, IoT, substantial number of years of experience. So basically saying, whatever needs to be done on AWS, I would be able to do this, lead on this, advise on this, and get it done. Now, wrapping this all up, so to speak, into a profile statement that you could also use, obviously, on LinkedIn or Xing or whatever professional network you use. I'm a data engineer with 4+ years of experience, focusing on managing IoT infrastructure and pipelines at an organizational level using AWS landing zones. I worked with injection of sensor data, reduced time to insight for water leakage detection, and improved the response time of the Tableau dashboard using advanced SQL. I have deployed end-to-end machine learning pipelines from data ingestion to model inferencing and integration of predictions into Salesforce. So also a particular application, if we're talking Salesforce, then this is kind of like oriented towards the customer management, customer relation, customer acquisition of a particular company, which is interesting because this is also obviously where companies make money. So I think what you see here is a relative complete profile of a senior data engineer that's enjoyed a particular career in IoT, has seen all of this, and actually could be trusted by companies for leading kind of like on new data projects, new data pipelines, and new ways of making a company more data driven. Now, I'm going to remind you here of the functions that a competency profile has, and in a minute also tell you how you might get your own if you like what you're seeing and you think, oh, I would actually. So the whole point of a competency profile, of course, is we do this with you. It's a one page or a one slider, and the point of it is it needs to work in 60 seconds or less. Okay. Please consider busy executives, busy line management, busy customers, busy clients, your busy network. You want to communicate with them professionally about who you are and what you do and what you're really good at. And they need to get it immediately. They need to get it in the sense of the pitch, right? The elevator pitch. And then the point of the elevator pitch is that you're on that famous elevator ride for 30 to 60 seconds and you can say a few things. But the point is, in those 30 to 60 seconds, you can never say everything. What you really want is you want to say a few things, elicit a first question, right? And then as you leave the elevator, what you really want is you want to get this reaction, hey, can I get your number? Or here's my number, call me. Or I want to talk to you again next week. That is really what this is about. So it needs to work in 60 seconds or less so that the other side gets enough of it to become interested and actually want to talk more to you. And this is why a competency profile also has these multiple use cases. So you can use it for your next promotion, to schedule that conversation about your career opportunities inside your company. You can use it for professional outreach to get other people interested in you and show them very quickly what you're good at. Again, if you're in freelance or consulting, use it with your clients. On your professional network, use it to show everybody. And if you're in a big company, be aware that colleagues inside your companies, also those from the non-data departments, right, might actually be using LinkedIn or Xing or whatever it is to find you first. And then finally, if you're looking for your next challenge, use it in the interviewing process. So, and why does this work so well? So why do people that do a competency profile do things with them and are successful and happy? The number one impediment still is for companies, access to practitioners with the right skill set. So obviously, right now there are more than 1 million data professionals out there, and there's enough data engineers, enough NLP engineers, and enough machine learning and computer vision and deep learning, neural network specialists. Of everything, there is nominally enough. But what's actually the right match? Which NLP engineer is the right one for which company? And this is really where the competency profile comes in, because it shows you in your role, NLP, analytics, whatever it is, and it shows your unique set of competencies, your strong suit. And that actually makes it easier for the company to determine whether you're a good fit, it also makes it easier for you to determine whether you're actually working for the right company right now. Okay, so this matchmaking, and it's still the number one impediment. If companies are not really advancing, they're not data driven, they haven't got the stuff in production, it's got to do with the fact that the team that is doing this isn't the right fit, or isn't trusted enough, or doesn't have enough executive decision making power. It's a people problem. It's not a technology problem. Yeah, the technologies tried and tested. We know they work. It's a people problem. So the competency profile addresses this number one impediment. Now, and if you want your own personal competency profile, you just need to do two things. First, you need to be a member of the AI Guild. If you're a data professional, you can join as a member through the website at theguild.ai and then automatically join the LinkedIn group. Now, once you've done that, you can actually sign up for a career workshop for members on the same webpage. And the one that you're looking for is called Lead, Director, and Principal. So this is about advancing your career from the senior level onwards to other things, technical team lead, perhaps a director, a team lead, you name it. And that's exactly what you get through this type of workshop. Okay, thank you. Wonderful. Our 15 minutes are over. As usual, if you like, leave comment or feedback, and I will get back to you during the rest of the day by looking at this. Enjoy the rest and see you.